Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you? Sam Jones here. So, I thought I'd do a run through of my recent track, Incoming, the one with the Take Me Away vocal. I've been playing this for a long time anyway, and then obviously turned it into a track. It was just originally just a little tool, which was with that Take Me Away vocal and a little reverse bass thing. Um, but then, so I just thought I'd do a run through of the whole track and show you how I made everything and that sort of thing, and where some of the ideas came from and that sort of thing. So there are quite a lot of channels in this track. As you can see, it goes all the way down to literally, like, Jesus, 376 channels. Hopefully I'm not using all of those because this could be quite a long video. But so we'll just start from the start and get it right into it. Kick drum is this. It's obviously filtered here at the moment, so if I cut through a little bit here. And I made it in kick 2, actually. Unfortunately, though, I don't actually have the synth open here. I was going to say it'd be ideal if I did, but I don't. So I could have showed you how I made that, but never mind on that one. See what else we got playing here. So yeah, just a little snare thing on top of this too. Nice and short. I think that was from Splice dubstep snare, probably, with just a little EQ on it. Nothing really. And also I forgot to explain that on the kick as well. It was already kind of punchy, but if I play it where it's kind of boomy, here was probably a bit better. This is more bass. Basically, you can see the EQ that I did here. So originally it's this. After I finished it in kick 2, it sounded like that, but I just sort of needed more boom. So it gives it more of a knock there, around 1,000 hertz, and then just in the low ends of 50 and stuff like that, just to give it more thud. Because originally the kick was quite thin and everything else was quite fat, but the kick wasn't thumpy enough, so I corrected that. So what else we got here? And then I've just got a stretched version of the snare, which is this. So it's reversed and stretched, just for every now and again, just to change it up so it's not just a straight snare. And then I've got some percussion filtered in here, which is from one of my packs that's on the website, the Hard Trance pack. Just so there's more to listen to in the intro, is just this loop, which if I turn everything off is just this. It's just that, but then I put a high cut on there. And you can hear that clicking because I forgot to basically do that on the sidechain where you do this to start the clicking. But yeah, that was that. And then the nice sound you can hear is this. So originally it was a sample of mine from the site, which sounds like this. So it's just that. And then I bounced it down to a different channel. So there you go. Right, yeah, so you can hear it later on in the track as well. Basically, it's something that was from further in the track, but then I just used it again in a different way. So I basically did that same sound with a pre-delay on the reverb. So something like this. So it was more, you just imagine this sound here. So hold on, I'll just open my favorite reverb, Chromaverb. It was literally just as simple as something like this. Add the pre-delay. It was just that. So yeah, that's how I got that. So let me just mute this again so it doesn't start playing over the top of everything. You can see I just bounced it down then anyway into its own sample. Then I have this little tail here, which then obviously comes onto one of the main vocals of the track. So that is actually from the main drop. which we'll get to later, obviously. Yeah, also I just need to check to make sure I've got enough room on my hard drive for this recording, because yeah, it's okay, cool. Thank God. So yeah, it was just a tail that I recorded from one of the higher synths that's in the main drop, and then I used a Melder freeform phase on it, which you just draw in your own sort of frequency, just changes it up a little bit, and then I added Pancake on it. So yeah, then I added that on it then as well, so it just moves left to right as well. And then I've obviously got the let's take it back to the old school. Which is, I got it off YouTube or something. There you go, Beat Junkies, let's take it back to the old school. So you can all go grab that if you want and do the same shit. And all I got on that is, well, the original sample is this. So if I just do this. That's the original sample. And then I chopped it up so it goes, let's take it back to the... and I just got an EQ on it to lift the highs and stuff like that. And then I got a distortion on there with trash, just to add a bit of nastiness to the vocal. A reverb, which I put on quite lazily, to be honest. It's not got anything on it to stop it or anything, but... And then I got a... Actually, that's not really doing anything, that isn't, but I've automated it, that's why. Okay, so later on I've done chops or something, but, and then what else do we have? Okay, and then this very interesting sound. I think I got the original sound off Splice as a preset, and then I morphed it and changed it up in quite a few ways. So it might have been this, I'm not sure. Which is that. Then here, just your run-of-the-mill crash. Crash that I use on every track, and I have been using on every track since about 2012. It's just a crash symbol that I've used. It's literally no reason apart from the fact that I know it works on everything, and it's just a crash symbol. So that with delay, same as everything. So it's like a 1/8 dotted delay. So it's like a 1/8 dotted delay, and then I've got this little Steam Blast white noise that I've used again for the same amount of time as this crash, probably. Just with a bit of reverb on it on the bus, nothing complicated, just a long reflectivity, fully wet, high end open, and the sidechain as well, so that it bounces. And that's that for those. We'll see what else we got. Oh yeah. So this fill was a little bit more interesting. I did this. I just added a white noise again, which I just EQ'd a bit differently. And that was it for that fill. It just makes it more interesting when you're mixing if you've got fills and stuff to cut into, like, you know, so. Okay, now I have an interesting part to explain. So basically, as I said, this was originally a tool. This track was. And I couldn't recover the project that I made it in. It was really messed up. So I had to take the bounce of the version that I was playing and stick it into its own project and then build around it. So that's what this Take Me Away part is. Which is this. Which I've filtered in and that kind of thing. But I've already bounced it in place, but... And then the bits I could control then, like with the vocal and stuff like that, I started doing them again then. So that was the part that was bounced from the original version of it. Then that's just like a little thing I made with some convolution and stuff, which I think was off the kick and delayed. So you can hear the bass creeping in there, but it's just from a bounce, so I can't go into detail with it just yet. What else do we have here? This is the only problem. That is just literally a sample that I can dissect for you now. I think it's one of my basses or something like that, but so I've just done a lot to it. So if I turn everything off, it originally sounds like this. So then I did an EQ, which you can see is doing like a slope, cutting the top, cutting the bottom and boosting the tops. Then a clip distortion, not doing much trash. Bring it out a bit more there. Channel EQ. Again, then Faturator, kilohertz Faturator, love this distortion. Then channel EQ again. Brighten it all up, and then a single then just to do filters with it, obviously, so I can gradually bring it in and out of the track. And then there's another version of it here. Oh no, it's the same. Okay, yeah. So then this is 9 bars in. Then you come to all the percussion, which is just this. So I got the hats and percussion. Hats are literally like some of my hats, some hats from Splice, and some hats from Activa's pack from back in the day. So the snares there are just being filtered. I'll do the snares first. I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit. So the snare is one of mine, actually, yeah. And then this you can hear is a reverb that I made from the snare. Just to make it a bit more interesting on that section. And the hats here are literally this hat, one of mine, and then one from Splice, and then one from Activa's Transessentials. Just a few layers there, and then we've got that same dubstep clap thing from the start. And then just a few layers with another dubstep clap thing there as well. So then that's that same loop from earlier on, the percussion loop. Oh, here we go. So now here's where the vocals come in. But yeah, it's a vocal stab with not much on it, just a bit of distortion, as you can hear. If I turn that off on the auto-tune, doesn't sound as nice, right? And then that was a reverb off it, just to give it more rhythm. And there's more sounds here, which I can hear, like that thing, which I'll try to explain as well. I just couldn't even slightly tell you where it is. I can hear where it comes in, but it's there. It's like a... It'll be a... I always struggle with this sort of stuff, though, to be honest, because... There you go, this is it. So this was originally this sound, maybe? No, again. I think it was just a hit from one of my packs that I put a lot of convolution on. Okay, and then this is filtered kicks, basically. So the main reverse bass of the track, I distorted the hell out of it and bounced it down. So I was going to say, do I have the original samples here? But I don't think I do. But yeah, it's broken up into 3 layers. So I basically bounced out the main reverse bass, and then I just did something like this where I cut the lows and then boost it here drastically and then boost it like that drastically, you know, that kind of thing. For one, and then the second one was just same concept, slightly different. Just different frequencies and boosting it as hell, as much as you can, so it's like hella loud. You know, and I use trash as well, I'm sure. So sorry that that's not very insightful. I'm just trying to go off my thought process, but yeah, then where else we got? then the vocals start to come in, and again, the main vocals. So you got two things here, which is this. That's from the original bounce of the track. Okay, so yeah, the is also again from the original bounce of the track. That's just a reverse kick, which I've stretched. And that ding you can hear is literally as simple as a saw wave in Serum that I pitched it down. Did like a modulated pitch, long and down, and that's it. And just a distorted crash, impact that goes to with like a delay on it. And then to get it to go at the end and like proper pinch at the end, I just bounced the thing to audio and then did like a tape stop at the end. So it's like a vinyl stop, you know? Okay, and then we get onto the actual vocal, which is going to be here. So this is the actual vocal. You know, as we all know, like probably one of the most sampled vocalists in the world ever, which is Loleatta Holloway. I mean, she's been sampled in all genres, you know. Anyway, as I said, the whole thing started as a little tool because I needed like a little filler for one of my sets in Australia. So I made it for that originally, which is this. There we go, right. So that's the actual vocal. So I can show you what I did to it. Thank God. I was trying to be tidy with this project, but the only problem with being tidy is you can't see how you did it. Because obviously I delete them and then bounce it down, so. So yeah, everything all together is this. So I just need to remember not to put that channel EQ on. So yeah, it's this. That's it originally, with the delay on, so. Which sounds great anyway, but it just sounds a little bit wobbly. So I put a pitch correction on it. Pulling it to the key I'm working in. Distortion with trash, multi-band. This one was doing nothing. Middle one boosted a little bit on amp drainer. The third was empirical. Again, not doing much, just lifting it a little bit like that, you know. And then the top here, I use positive to lift the high end. Just gives the vocal a bit more nastiness, maybe a bit too nasty at times, who knows. So that's why I did the EQ then, to pull out some of the frequencies that I didn't like. Mainly just getting rid of the ringing ones, and then obviously the delay, quarter dotted, so it's not as fast as my usuals, but it's alright for the vocals. And then a bus then, which is the long reverb and sidechain, same as usual. So yeah, let's listen through the rest. Now I can mute that one anyway. So yeah, then I have this. Which is basically how I explained earlier, but there is a bit more on this one actually. So there's two distortions and a saturator on this. So it's originally like kind of this. So it's that. That's the original bass from the original version probably. Quite muddy actually. So then I cut that down and then I put one trash on, multi-band again, same sort of concept, just picture different settings. Nasty, but not nasty enough. One more trash, just not multi-band though, just singular to boost it all ranges. And then, I mean, I should have probably put an EQ on it, but then I did Saturator, so it's more gritty. And then I had just add the EQ, as I said, so. So yeah, we're getting there, kind of. We're 30 seconds in. And then I had this one. So now the original didn't used to have the build-up. The original version I used to play out, it would just kind of... The original version that I used to play out didn't do that. It used to just... let me just see if OBS is still actually recording. So, the original version didn't do that. It just did this. And it didn't have a flanger on it. I added this flanger. But I just preferred it with a flanger. But yeah, I just thought I'd leave it with these basses going. Anyway, so then obviously we come back into this. So this is just the reverse bass basically. And I'm sorry to say I don't actually have the presets around because, as I said, it's bounced from a project that I couldn't no longer get going. So I just dipped the kick off it and then took the bass. But I did adjust it slightly. Like I think I just a saturator, that's it. So it's a bit more nasty, and an EQ. If I turn this and this off, adds a bit of nastiness to it as well, really. So there's not a lot going on here apart from the kick. Then those filtered kicks come in again. And then I love these vocal chops, which are obviously from the Take Me. And I just dee away. I just can't find them. Here we go. So this is them. So there's tons of reverb on that, as you can hear, but it works, you know. So yeah, it's originally from... If I turn the delay off, it sounds mad different, you know. It's because it's bypassed. But yeah, you get the gist. I did an EQ as well because there's a lot of nasty frequencies. Also, little tip for Logic users, when you're doing these little diddies, when you shorten the sample a lot and you don't have pitch correction on, sometimes it'll like go off on its own key or something, and you'll struggle to find the right tone. So if you use pitch correction, it's just a little cheat that'll hold it in the same key, you know. So basically it is auto-tune, but just saves a lot of messing around, you know. So yeah, so now let's keep going. And then there, I've got a little kick roll, which, well, not a kick roll, but, you know, just bog standard kicks. Just a sigh kick, just so it's not the same kick constantly, just for that little fill. Then we go back into that filtered kick again, except I got this reverse thing to change the rhythm up a bit. And then that's just that E, but I just did one out of them. And then I introduced a new vocal, which is from the same a cappella, I think, anyway. You got the kind of lip that. So it's got the kind of lips that touch me. I just didn't want to use it exactly like that. So it's that, and this then was off Splice, the one underneath. So there's a few vocals here. So there's this one. So that one, then this one. There's quite a lot of reverb on these vocals, really. I should have turned them down, but it's whatever. So this original Touch Me was, if I turn everything off, was this. Which is fine. I added that, then distortion. Then EQ. Then this was bouncing with it. And then reverb. I didn't mind so much that it had so much reverb because it's kind of just a background sound. It's not on a clean section. That's the same concept as the other two. And then I used this from Splice 2. There's too much reverb on these sounds. As I said, when you've got an area like this though, where there's not a lot going on, it's just a filtered kick and a couple of effects from vocals, you've got loads of space. So technically you can have a lot of reverb and it's not really going to be that big of a deal, so. Whereas if I had loads of synths going and stuff and whatever, or it was a clean drop and I had this much reverb on it, it probably wouldn't be that great. And then it's back into that A. So this is where it gets fun then. So then I took these stabs from the A, and as you can see, there was a lot of trial and error with this. There's a lot of channels on that, but yeah, there's this. So there's a bit going on with that. So, you know, it's a little nasty, but it works with the sound of the track. So yeah, that's just E, and then shorter over time. With a delay too. And then I've got a small version of it then. So the point was so that by the time the kick and bass come in on this section, it sounds tight. Which it does. So I have a clock ticking sample as well, which I found helped a lot with the build. With that suspense. I think it's from Vengeance actually. Which was that. And there's like a whoop, which I'm trying to find for you now so you can hear the niceness of that, which was one of my presets of Vital. And I just put a tape stop on it so that it does like a, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas if I just... That's what it was before, but with the tape stop. It works just before it drops, you know, it's just kind of picking up just before it kicks in, you know. So yeah, there's a few sounds on this one. So I was sick of doing the same rhythms all the time. You know, I'm doing the same, not me, but a lot of us are doing the same rhythms a lot. And I thought a rhythm I've not heard for a while is that dum 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 dum, like a percussive one. So yeah, here's the kick, and then I got this layer on here too, so it slaps a bit more. But the rhythm is coming from this one. Again, the problem is that I've just got to find the thing. So you got to bear with me while I try to find it. We'll cover the rhythm side of it first, and then the gated kicks and that kind of thing. I genuinely can't find it anywhere, so I think I just saw it then, actually. Quickly, like, I think it was green, so... It'd be good if this was live, because if you saw something, you could tell me. Okay, so yeah, this is just the normal kick. Which I EQ'd slightly different, took some top end off so it wasn't clicking as much as the main kick. And then yeah, if you listen to it all together with the actual kick and the tap, is this is the rhythm of it. That's where the rhythm comes from, and then I've got this fat layer underneath as well, which is covers the low end, which was this gated kick, which I'm sure is this. So I might be able to show you it. It was originally a reverb bounce thing, which I just did a lot too. So it was originally like a reverse reverb from Space Designer, from the original kick. And then I just, did this. As you can hear, this is the original. The original is this. So then I found it so that the rhythm was kind of offbeat, like this. Like that, and then I did an EQ. Cutting some of the mid out, so like a notch filter, cutting out some of the mid range. Boosting some of the low distortion. So that it's like ridiculous. And then the phase distortion. And then, so that's the full width of the whole full length of it. Sounds crazy, right? And then it sounds too much though, obviously. So then I bounced it down into this. Cut all that high end off. Sounds slightly different, but I think it's because I pitched it, actually. It sounds pitched. Yeah, fine-tuned. But yeah, that's basically the concept of that. And that's how I do my gated kicks. Just a reverse kick. Then this is just the same kick in that rhythm, but there's like a toof sound, which I need to show you. Quite a cool sound, actually. Forgot how much there is to actually explain in this track. Jesus, explains why it took me so long to make. Yeah, and then these. So this. So that's essentially like a raw style kick punch. But it's just used differently. It doesn't sound as aggressive. Kind of more lasery. But yeah, it's from Serum. I made it. I'm gonna see if I can find the actual preset now as well. So then what else we got? Then there was also that's just so it sounded a bit more cracked. It's fine without it, but it just adds it. And then there's like a reversed saw bass type sounds, very fuzzy, but adds to it nicely. I can't find it because the project's already getting well busy. There it is. That same one as earlier. So it's basically this, just EQ'd differently and stuff. Yeah, this is gonna be a long walkthrough. I'm only 1:35 into it, so it's all the effects, Didn't realize how much. Sometimes forget how much goes into them. I enjoy doing them so much that I just get lost in my own little world, Days go by. And yeah, so I'm looking for the whoop sound. This. I just saw it then. This. Oh, it's that thing from earlier that I showed you. So yeah, it's that thing from earlier. But if you take it out, it just doesn't have the same impact. It does, but it just doesn't. It gives you something else to dance to, I feel. I love having a few things to listen to, when I'm working on these things, so. I don't know why I just saved that. Right, I could have messed this up massively by doing that. Right, thank God. It's an old project, see, so I'm hoping I didn't bug that out. It's because I'm used to doing, just working and Command S, saving everything I do. But yeah, there's this then. which is just an atmosphere that I made for the hard trance pack or something. Then this, which I made, and I put a convolution on it. This. So it's originally like that kind of techno-y respace that you hear in a lot of techno. It's too basic to be in drum and bass nowadays, but it's just this. And then I put a convolution on there with kilohertz convolution. And then I did a reverbed version of the end. No, I didn't actually. I let the vocal breathe. And then the vocal is here somewhere. You better be careful. You better be careful. Which I put distortion, pitch control, pitch correction, and an EQ on. So it's all together. This. You better be careful. You better be careful. Fine. You better be careful. Better. And then you put pitch correction on. Then it just pulls to the key, and then I did a Saturn as well. And then there's a buak on the top of this, which is that raw kick thing as well, but a different version of it. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Like, I'm doing this video and I'm like, oh my God, have I got the time to even keep doing this? Obviously, I'm joking now. I'm loving it. But I'm just saying there's a lot to get through. So when it gets to the more melodic elements and stuff, I could explain things a lot quicker. It's just the techie parts. There's like, you know, a lot going on. So I don't know what this is. Just a hat. Not too much. I'll explain the percussion in a minute. I'm just trying to do the effects. Actually, you know what? I'll do the percussion now. So the hats are just this. Just slightly different than just offbeat. So here's that sound again. Oh, actually, no, it's different. Okay, cool. So that originally comes from this. So the original sound would have been something like this. Then I added an EQ, pancake, and saturator. So that's the original sound. EQ, as you can see it there. Then pancake to wobble it, and saturator to do this. So it just squeezes the life out of it a little bit more. So then this is the same sound as what I showed you earlier, I think. So, oh, there you go. Cool. I think this is it. It's not even my sound, actually. Is it? No, it is. Yeah, it is my sound. Right, okay. I think I started it with someone else's sound. That's why it's got the MIDI name and different name on that. So yeah, just that kind of, just simple. I'm working in A, so I went E, C, A. So it ends on the key it's in. So it sounds nice anyway, but obviously once you do all the processing and stuff, it just sounds way better and more unique, so. And then this one was just a cut version. You can hear the reverb on it. It's just always good to mess things up as much as you possibly can. I feel anyway. It just gives you a more unique sound. So then there was this also. Kind of noisier-esque width. That's old school sort of sample. It's kind of like that. You know that T78 Outsiders track? It's that kind of rave sample. And then what else we got? There's more vocal stuff, and I'm really looking forward to getting onto the other parts. Then this is just filtered kicks, which I did just literally like filtered the kick, bounced the main kick and bass out, and then just automated an EQ on it so it went through the frequencies. And then I've got this da-ga-da-ga-da thing, wherever that may be. Yeah, there's a lot in here. Okay, yeah, found you. So a reverse. And that's just the second part of the acapella that I robbed from God knows where. Same concept, tenor distortion and pitch correction off. Still good, it's cleaner sounding, but I wanted nasty, so. So, here is some other stuff. I could probably think of more interesting ways to... Oh yeah, I forgot about... Again, this is simple stuff though, just snare rolls. You know, I don't want to bore you with all that kind of stuff. It's just literally just simple snare rolls to just add more to the transitions. I got this sample, which is... You might recognize it from Fire Drill. So it's just literally like I put pitch correction on it just to pull it to make sure. But yeah, Ignition, Technician, Ignite It. It's a track that Halliwell used to play a lot back in the day. Me and Will Reese loved it, and we thought, love to put that on a track. So we put it in Fire Drill for, you know, see how it went. And turns out it went great. So, so yeah, I just used it again in this. Just changed the key of it a little bit and stuff, and yeah. But the only difference is it doesn't sound exactly like it. So the original is kind of like this. But then I just changed the rhythm of it using LFO Tool, like that. So instead of it just da-na-na-na-na, just chops a little bit different. So, because it's not about that anyways, there's lots of other stuff going on, so you'll hear now. But before I move on, there's another sound here, which I need to probably explain. This. You know what? I don't even know how I did that. I think it's reversed. Kick, repeat, techno. It's not even mine. Reverse kick, fill, something. I can, you know what? I can try and just reverse this and see what happens. I think it's reversed though, whatever it is. So we'll find out now. Yeah, I think it's like a dub delay type kick thing, and then I reversed it. Try and get a bit more information on it for you, but it's looking not likely. And then let's see what else we got. Okay, so then I changed the bass again then to something else because I didn't want just noisy bass. Still got this going, this whoop. But the first thing you can probably hear is the percussion comes back in from earlier on this. Which I put a sidechain on because if you take the sidechain off, it sounds nasty, you know. It doesn't sound nasty, it's just flat. There's no pump to it, so. Rolling hats. Kick stuff. That rhythm's still there. This is the bass that is now in there from Phase Plant, so it's a nice warm bass. Which I made. Just a couple saw waves. With some distortion and one of the different wavetable, and that's it. Oh, sorry, one of them's detuned as well. And then the key changes. I don't like my errors being too flat for too long. It's nice to introduce a key change, like, because it just gives it a bit of a different tone, rather than just all being A all the way until the breakdown. You know, it just adds a bit more feeling. And then I got this, which I literally didn't do that much to. It's just from the hard trance pack that I did for all of you on Beat It. This. Okay, so the original is this. The original thing is this. Actually, the original is this. But me doing it like that, I just felt like took up too much room for what I wanted to achieve for this section of the track. So I did that, and then I did reverse reverbs of these sounds. And just added some sidechain and that kind of thing. And then the two together sound. Well, something like that. As you can tell, it's not right, but I bounced them in place to sound like this. So instead of it all just being dry everywhere, it goes to dry hits, then the reverse reverbs, then dry, then reverse reverbs. And then I bounced it to its own channel and then just put barely an EQ on it, to be honest. Doesn't really qualify as an EQ. Saturn's doing most of the EQing, to be honest. Another EQ, lifted it slightly on the highs, and then just that for filtering it down later. And the vocals that go baha, I've already explained them. I've explained that. Now, you gotta just trust me on this. There's a vocal in here that when you listen to it on its own, sounds nasty. It sounds rough, like, actually it does sound quite rough. This. That background sound you can hear there, it sounds like it says Chicago town. Makes me think of pizzas every time. Anyway, this on its own sounds nasty, like. It's like, whoa. I tried EQing it and stuff. But it just didn't do much difference. It cut out some of the whistles, but it's a very reverb version of one of the vocals in this track. But I thought in the background it sounds fine. Anyway, and then you got this O, which I love. I can't remember what it's from, but we'll find it in a sec. So there's two sections of this part that I love, actually. So there's this, first of all, which is one of my stabs from the site. You know, it's very Scott Project, like, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And that's the inspiration behind that sound, to be honest. But yeah, I made it and I forgot about it, and then yeah. So this then, below it, this whole section is quite nice, so actually is. I can't even remember if I bounced it with this in. Anyway, that, if I did bounce it with it in, is this. Literally, like, not much going on that. It's quite lame, really. But with just this. Just tons of reverb on it. Maybe I should have given the reverb a bit of a break. I don't know. Okay, and then there's this vocal, which is from the you better be careful thing. I think that's from Careful. Then there's this, which is just, I'm not gonna lie, it's not mine, it's from Splice. But I loved it because it sounded very old school. It's like those old school hoovers that you hear in a lot of hardcore stuff, you know, and ravey style stuff. And just wanted to see. That's where I used the version of that wah, the reverbs. So it all together becomes this, this, and this. Now this is going to be fun to explain, I think. So this is just a little percussion thing. I'm not on about this. That's just cool sound, you know, but... And then I've got a different variation where it builds up a little bit more. You know, so it's ready for that section. So what I mean is... So there's like a reversed version of this vocal here. I don't know where it is. Here, it must be this. So these two together. Basically, it's touch me, that part there, reversed there, first of all. And then touch me, diggy, like that. But how I did that was this. So I took this vocal here, touch me, all that stuff. I stretched it first of all, then pitch correction, then M flanger. Then delay, then the chops. So the chops come from LFO Tool, but I automated the speed of it. So like you'll see this now. You'll see this move, so it goes 164 down to 116, that kind of thing. And then obviously it's delayed anyway, so there's that. And then what else we got? Then we got these, which come off the da-da-da-da-da. That. Now, that flute sound, before we get into anything. The flute sound isn't mine. It's from Phase Plant. When I first got Phase Plant, I used this, and I was just flicking through the presets. I was like, oh, wow, that sounds cool, or wow, that sounds great. And yeah, so I used this to just play with some notes and stuff. I didn't really tweak anything within the synth, because when I first opened Phase Plant, I was like, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? I understand it now, but at the time I was like, I don't even know, but that sounds nice, so I'm going to use it. There's the notes. So if any of y'all want to copy that. There's not much on it really, just sat on an EQ to bring it out. Just to bring it out a bit more, you know, and a reverb, and that's it. And underneath it, I've got a straight drone here, which is this, just doing not much apart from opening the filter. Which I EQ'd in, so it went from less bassy to bassy, so it didn't just start with sub, you know. And then you can see the filter there, so it opens up and then comes back down, so the plucks can breathe and stuff, you know. Everything's in and out of each other, so everything has its own time. And then that is these. And then this. And then there's the da-da-na-na. So basically, this all that melody that you can hear was all one sound at one point, but I thought I was getting bored of hearing the same sound all the time. It took the specialness away from it by rinsing it constantly, so I used different synths to do the same melody, but just different parts of it be different sounds, you know, so... Then I went into this, which is a tweaked version of a preset of my own. That is very, very old, you know, very Ska Project hard trance style. Sorry, Frank. Frank's a legend. Right. Okay, and then EQ then to cut out some of the badness. And then delay. And the reverb is what you can hear bouncing, so. Then that flute comes back in again, but it's layered, so it's with this. Which is just Twinkle Dinkle from Vital. It's one of the presets available for anyone that's signed up to the website. So yeah, I shouldn't have opened Vital because now Logic's like, okay, so yeah, this is just freaked. This is freaked. Okay, and then I was on this Twinkle Dingle thing, right? Which is just a preset from Vital, and then we're into this. Which I basically did do that, as I said, with the original flute sound, but then I just did it in Vital too, so... I could try and open it, but I feel like the project's going to crash, so I'm not going to bother. This is a nice sound. So this pad here, Tunnel Texture, I'm sure it's called. Is this the same one? No, that's not the same one, but yeah, it's this pad here. And then I just added LFO tool gradually so that it chopped it before the transition, so it's just tighter, you know? Key changes. Key changes there. And I just did a reverse snare, a reverse cymbal, because I never do those usually, but it works here. Okay, so yeah, drone. So that's the whole melody of the drone, and then these pads I did. So they just follow the drone. But yeah, the actual sound of the original melody was this. Funny story, actually. I didn't like this melody like at all, really, and I almost threw this track in the bin like 5 times because I just couldn't get past this melody because I just thought it was too simple or something. Which is just this. I hated it at first. I think it's just because I heard it so many times when I was trying to layer it with stuff like this and. That's nice too, actually. Yeah, that's also old school hard house lead. Yeah, makes sense. yeah, I didn't like it at first, and my missus told me, like, she was like, it's great, just stick with it and all this stuff. I tried like 3 or 4 different melodies. Like I don't know, I was just like, no, I want to do a better one or something, and I couldn't top it, and I eventually came back around to this, but yeah, the point is I was trying to overcomplicate it, and I was just getting too producer with it, like. That's the problem with working on techie stuff, is you get really producery with it, because obviously it's very technical and you changing a million things and all that stuff. You got to try and forget that when you come into making melodies, because you obviously don't need to be crazy complicated with melodies. You just need to feel it, and obviously you need to know your stuff, of course, but it's not the same sort of thing. But that was a typical case of all my effects and technicalities and all this stuff dragged through into my moods. And you should have heard, honestly, that some of the other melodies I made after I did this one, just because I was like, oh no, I want to make a crazy melody, la la la. It was just so complicated. If I could find them now, I'd show you just for a laugh, because it was terrible. But anyway, I ended up coming back to this, and I wanted to throw it in the bin like a few times, but my missus was like, no, finish it, get it going. So yeah, thanks to her, because I actually finished it because of her. I did just throw it in the bin, so I literally deleted it. I remember I deleted it off my computer, but I had a backup of it, so I deleted it, and like, I can't be bothered, so that kind of thing. But yeah, this was the original thing anyway, so then I layered it with this, which was also just phase plant, and I think there's another layer which is quite thin. It's got the same name as the other one, but it's not. It's just Silent doing this like phased lead thing. I'm not even sure what the preset's from. I think it's Uma Ozcan bank from back in the day, but I just put loads of phaser on it, just so it moves. I've used that lead in a few things, like in Let Loose and stuff back in the days. So yeah, let's go through the rest of it. But the point is, I was making the track where it was just no pad at first, and it was just these. It was like just this at first. Which, to be honest, that actually sounds alright now that I've had, a break. But you can listen to the pads too, is my point now. So it's like a full wall of sound. So I was just trying to create everything all in one synth patch, and have the most complicated melody ever, but I just didn't need to, so. Then I've got this, which is from Splice, which is quite plucky. I love it, Okay, and then, so what else we got? Got that again. Then better be careful again. Then obviously I wanted to smooth it all out a bit more, so I start filtering stuff out, and the plucks and leads and that kind of thing, so they all filter out together. That kind of thing. And then coming to this section then, which is just more simplified. So, yeah, there's Impact here, which is just one pioche, that kind of thing. Yeah. And there's some more stuff here, I think. No, not down the bottom. So there's 2 acids. And then one that's higher, I think. So yeah, 2 layers here. And then it goes into this build. Then I went up from A to C for this section. Then to E. Just to add on the intensity. So altogether though, there is like a string here, like a high-pitched E, which I need to find. I can't find it right now, so just give me a second. But I think it's literally just a sample that I've took from one of my packs anyway. Oh no, it's just a riser that I held the pitch on. Then I've got another one picking up again. So basically by the time that riser stopped, you've got another one coming back. Also, I've got these too as well, kicks for impact, so you got this. Just a long-ass reverb underneath the dry signal. Snare then which comes in around here. I'll just get that for you now. Hold on a sec. This thing here. I don't know what it is actually, so but yeah, it's quite chunky. Quite basic the way I've used it. So yeah, there. And I also did the key changes with the bass underneath as well to make the intensity more. So, you know, it does that. And then it filtered over time as well, so it pulls it towards the build. And it was originally going to kick in here when I was first working on it, but I thought, nah. So I just kept it going. But that gave me a chance then to introduce more new elements. So the riser goes down then. But also up at the same time. So you've got like a mix of moods. And obviously the E from earlier on comes back in, but it doesn't drop with it obviously, so. I'll get into the stabs in a minute, but there's a few things I want to cover first. So there's this, which is the main sort of bass, which is from Serum, just my sick detuned bass. It's literally a saw wave detuned, bit of distortion. That's it. There's like nothing else going on, and a bit of a filter. That is it. Like, but it's just got a nice texture. Like, there's nothing else to say with that really. I just added a bit of an EQ and that's about it. And then you got the T99 stab, which is here somewhere. Again, just gotta find it. God knows. Is this it? No, that's the vocal. Dun, 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 dun. I honestly don't know where it is. So you just have to bear with me while I try to find that, because this is going to be a huge pain in the ass if I can't find it. Here it is. Alright, so it's these. Oh yeah, the pitched up vocal I probably need to explain. So it's this, which is literally just I'm rolling faster, and then I just did the kilohertz pitch shifter on it. That's it. There's nothing else to that. And then obviously comes to take it back to the old school sample. But the thing is, I tried it like a million times, but I couldn't get it to fit right because I felt like the music stopped, is how it felt. So I put snare rolls underneath it in like an offbeat rhythm. So this. So I got a sense of rhythm before it dropped. Take it back to the old school. And then there's another little failure. It's never simple. There's this thing. I don't know how I made it. I can't remember what that's from, to be honest. So probably this. Maybe. I don't know. But I honestly can't remember how I made that, to be fair. Because there's a lot to keep track of with a project like this, and I genuinely can't remember. So what's this? That's just a low end to jump into the drop. There's for sure another sound here. I just can't find the thing. Take it back to the old school. Old school. No, that is it. Yeah, actually, yeah. Old school. All right, so we're getting into the main drop now, anyway. So we're near in the end. So that's not too bad. Let me just check how long I've been going with this. Okay, so yeah, now next is the kick is the same kick as earlier. I got underneath it a gated kick, which is heavier than the other gated kick. It's this. It's not like gritty, it's just really low, but it sounds heavy on a system. But if you listen in the house, maybe it doesn't sound that crazy, but on a system, it sounds super heavy, you know? So yeah, then on top of that, I've got the Steam Blast, which I use on a lot of drops. Actually, I should probably stop using it. There you go. Just sidechained white noise, that's it. Nothing too extravagant. And then I've got this, which originally comes from this. Which is the actual bass for the drop. It's not much, to be honest. It's just a saw wave that I've filtered nicely with the distortion. Saturn, phase distortion, that kind of thing. And then I bounced to audio for this part. And then I think I added like flanger on it. Just so it did that, you know, slide through all the frequencies type thing. Then there's this version of the bass, which I've bounced down. I just changed the filter slightly and added more distortions. Added more distortions, as you can see, and EQs and stuff. And I also did one of these, so it moves. So I just automated through the scale of it all. I'm really losing track here now, to be honest. Then I got this, which is just a really nice slap. And also this. I mean, you can't even really hear that. I don't know why. No, you can hear it actually in the mix. Then there's the diff. There's one that's reverbed like big time. Which is basically that same one as this top one, just with loads of reverb on it. And then this. Just sounds like a wet fart. Then there's this section, which is a few different sounds, these are my favorite kinds of effects, really. So that one from earlier, as I said, sounds like a wet fart. It sounds terrible on its own, but you put it in context. You know, and they all work. So yeah, that top one is just from phase plant, just like kind of synth, you know, hard trancey synth. It's dry, but it just adds that top end where I was looking for, because otherwise it's just this. It's not much on its own, you know, so it needed that. It needed those two layers. And then that's just a convoluted, distorted version of it. Adds more room to it, you know, so. And that is just a rolling kick that you can hear, which I'll just show you. Take me a second to show you. It's just this. Nothing complicated. And then there's some sort of side-chained white noise thing here, which I love. This. Just one of my impacts off the website, which I just changed the EQ a little bit on and added loads of reverb. So now we're going back into that pitched bass thing that I made, but this one I just put a freeform phase on it, which was, oh there you go, yeah, freeform phase and a phaser on it, just so it changed. So if I turn everything off, apart from the vibrator at the bottom, good as is. Better with a bit more bass. Phaser. Nice, but there it goes too, you know, whooshy. Then it's more nasty, and then obviously the freeform phase then. To kind of squeeze all the nastiness back into its place, if that makes sense. So layers upon layers of plugins, as usual. Now this one is interesting. I'll have to do a separate tutorial on how I did this, because I have the project file somewhere. So basically the I made that in a different project, and it's, as you can see, it's called Dead Limit, because I was trying to see if I could make the bass from Noisier and the Upbeats track Dead Limit. And I love it, you know, I love the track anyway. But when I first heard it, like, I had no idea. It was years ago. I had no idea how to even attempt to make anything like that. But anyway, I managed to pull it off. It doesn't sound as good as theirs, obviously. How could it, you know? They're Noisier are gods, so there's no way it could sound as good as theirs. But I just had a go, and it sounds kind of cool. So anyway, but I'll have to do it in a separate video, because I did specifically a project, and it's literally just a respace that I made in Serum, and then I just put tons of processing on this and whatever. Anyway, I went into that project, and then I bounced it into the keys of what this track is, and I did something similar to Dead Limit, which, if anyone signed up to the website knows Noisier at all, you know it goes whoa, like that, and I just changed the keys, you know. I can't think now because I'm thinking of my version. But it sounded cool anyway. But I just put a fade in on it, so that's how it starts originally. But if you do a speed up, it sounds more nasty. Instead of, you know, it sounds like someone's starting up a motor rather than just starting. So yeah, I did that, and I added some process. No, I didn't actually even add any processing on it, because that's what I mean. I did it all in the other project. But this second version, I put a flanger on it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't tell you much more on that one, because obviously it's in a separate project, but... And I got the second half of it had a bit of a reverb on it. Which is this. Okay. And then this little thing here I love. It's like a huff. It's basically a convoluted reverb of the kick, which I stuck on this section because it makes it sound like, well, I just love it. It's nothing on its own. It's nothing on its own, but when you stick it on top of the kick and stuff, it just makes it sound heavier. And then go into this. What have we got? Same sound. It's this one I'm trying to show you. There you go. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a preset of splice that I've just adjusted slightly, just for an extra layer. Because otherwise it's just this, you know? It's just the same over again, so it just adds a new element. Same patterns, but new element. No idea what this is, I think... Hold on, I'll tell you now. Oh, it's from Vital, so it's this. That's actually on the website as well as a Randy Katana type sound. I think I've adjusted it a lot, but yeah. Then the reef bass comes back in. Just slightly different sounding. And then again, instead of just da 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 da, which is what we have on the first part of the drop, this one's slightly different. I think it's this. Which was this originally, so. Which is just from Serum. Just a pluck thing. And then, yeah, and then that's it. Bounce that out. And then you can hear this thing creeping back in then as it's building up, which is basically a reverb chopped from the Dead Limit Reese. And then I wanted a more melodic element before a new section comes in, so these. So that's the bass, and then I did a pad here, which is this. Very 80s style pad. And then, yeah, so then this is where it comes from. And then I've just got this clap hit thing. Just run-of-the-mill clap hit with reverb on it. Nothing really fun to explain there. And then this is a different version of the but I just put a LFO on it. So then I've got another sound here which gets introduced. All the percussion comes back in and stuff, as you can hear. But I have this like lead. Oh, sorry, I changed the bass again there now to this. See, if I take that off, you can notice a huge difference. It's just too ploddy, you know, it doesn't go up. Whereas if I add this, it goes up in energy. Anyway, so then after that, then there's these which are this. The first one is from Phase Plant, which is this 2004 pluck. This is alright, it's just dry, you know. And then I got this one, which is on the website. It's not saved in this project, but I did save it. It's a hard trance lead. I can't remember what I named it, but it is on the website for sure. It's on the presets. I've recently uploaded it in the last few months. So yeah, if you want to see the MIDI, it's this. And just to make it sound more interesting, it's got a pre-delay on it, so it's not just that, you know? So yeah, and then we'll hear what else we got, and some reverbs. And then it's just all about bringing. The other elements in from earlier on, like the melodic elements and stuff. So it's not all just hard, you know. Actually, there is something probably that could be fun to explain. I don't know. That's take it back to the again, and then is this. I don't even know what that is. So. I think it's from one of the that I did on the main drop, and I just reversed it. As you can hear, this section is all calming down. The kick is coming away from here, like filtering it, and the quiet. I do like a volume gain on the kick probably, just so that it distances, or just the EQ. Yeah. Then I brought in the old bass back in again, then the old first reverse bass from the start, because I like to kind of reverse itself. So when it comes back into the outro, maybe bring in the elements from the first couple minutes of the track, so you don't forget where the track came from, if you know what I mean. So yeah, as you can hear, all I did was bring in this back in again. Because everything's calming down now, I want it to end nice, you know? So... And then, yeah, and then it's just a huge, big reverb on that pluck again from there, just to remember the niceness of the track, and that's it. So yeah, actually that was kind of quicker than I thought it would be to explain, actually. So how long we've been going. I did about an hour on the first bit and then half an hour, so 90 minutes-ish, yeah. So yeah, that's the whole track. Hope you liked it. I mean, everywhere I've played it, it's gone down great and stuff. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you the ins and outs of everything, how I do it, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. And the next walkthrough will be, actually I don't even know what it's going to be on, but I'll let you know soon. But more tutorials and stuff are recorded, so they'll be getting uploaded soon anyway. So yeah, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Nice one.